when we started our company, I sat down on the floor in a Las Vegas conference room, so that was disgusting, and just sketched out this idea because there was this really cool presentation, and I just sketched it out, and we launched the company around that. And kind of one thin piece of it is in the product and became the right thing, but we had a ton of time in the industry, so we knew who all the big players were that used the kind of software we wanted, and we believed we could make something better and that more companies could use. And so if you have really deep expertise in an area, and that could mean a lot of years, but probably it doesn't mean that. Probably it means you've just thought about it at a way more detailed level and just way more insanely than anyone else. Being able to turn a binary file into actual that's nuts. That's amazing. No one thinks that deep into something. So if you want to de-risk or push for, increase the odds that you've got the right path to success, just get really, really deep, insanely deep into some area that you then know more about than anyone else. If you're worried that someone's going to take your idea and run with it, then you're thinking about it the wrong way. Ideas are great and they're good, but you have to execute them. They're not really worth anything on their own.
Yeah. So it started with a partnership, right? So that's what I tell everybody. It didn't start as a company. It didn't start with a product, with an idea, with a specific thing. We just said we want to create something together, period. And that's because we already had experienced working together. Instead of looking into what is the idea or the solution or the product, is just be very passionate about the problem that you're trying to solve and deeply understand, which just goes back to that, talk to customers, but deeply understand what you're trying to solve. And I don't know if I think in your case, it's similar to mine. I don't know specifically your case, but then develops a tech that is very unique and very defensible, very distinguishable. So in our case, for example, the account aggregation, we had to reverse engineer the bank apps. It was somewhat similar. The APIs from I'd put a sniffer on it. I won't go through the technical details, but we basically didn't have any competitor for 5 years. No one. There was no one. Even there were some attempts, but it was they didn't have the right technical solution. So the banks would block their access, and that was it. So finding that very specific technical angle or where you really solve that problem in a way that nobody has ever figured out. I think it's the magic behind the product.
The first one I think is around talent. So starting with co-founder, and we've all shared about that. I think that's critical. That's foundational. That there's trust and psychological safety in the relationship. That there is the ability to have conflict without ruining things. Disagree and commit is a fantastic mindset for that. Rate of iteration is a thing that I think about a lot when I'm talking with founders. How quickly can you test your assumptions? And if you and your co-founder and arguably your early team are wired towards this idea of we don't know what we don't know, and the only way we'll figure it out is to build it. And sometimes building it is a PowerPoint. Sometimes it's just a mock-up or it's a paper prototype. Sometimes it's working code. I'm not trying to be specific about it, but it's all about how quickly can we learn. Speaking with customers is invaluable. They're not going to tell you what to do. Actually, they probably will. They'll tell you exactly what to do. Your job is to not listen to them at that level and to go deeper and understand the problem, the pain that they are currently dealing with. There's either a gap, there's a real pain or inefficiency, but something is underneath whatever the thing that they're saying to you, there's something deeper under there, folks. And so when we kind of put up this very cryptic website that was here's this handful of people that you kind of know who are working on some stuff for you, it got the community really excited, even though we were not explicit at all about what we were doing. They were just like, if these folks are thinking about it, we're in. And so we took advantage of the community that a number of us had built through our careers. And that created this private alpha wait list that was about 8,000 people signed up for that thing. And we're like, knocking on the door, please, whatever you're building, let me get my hands on it.